The smart wife who outsmarted generosity. Imagine feeding strangers every day while your own stomach stays empty. Imagine loving someone so much, but their goodness is slowly destroying your home. This is not just a story about kindness, it's about intelligence, survival, and a woman who chose wisdom over confrontation. The sun had barely risen over the quiet village, but Sujata was already awake. The air was cool, the kitchen was silent, and the pot in front of her almost empty. She tilted it slightly. A few grains of rice clung to the bottom. Not enough for two people, certainly not enough for guests. Yet guests would come. They always did. Madhav, her husband, stepped out of their small room, tying his cloth with a calm, content expression. He was a simple man, no wealth, no possessions worth mentioning, but his heart was rich beyond measure, too rich. "Sujata," he said cheerfully, "I might bring someone home today." She didn't respond immediately. She didn't need to, because someone always meant more than one. By noon, the house would fill with voices, laughter, stories, gratitude, and Sujata would serve, plate after plate, smiling, nodding, pretending everything was fine, until the food ran out. And when the guests were satisfied, when they wiped their hands and blessed the house, they would leave, leaving behind silence and hunger. That was when reality returned. Sujata would sit across from Madhav, two empty plates between them. Sometimes he would laugh it off. "The gods are watching," he would say. "They will reward us." But Sujata felt something different. Not anger, not even frustration, just quiet exhaustion. One evening, her voice finally trembled. "Madhav," she said softly, "we cannot continue like this." He looked at her surprised. "We barely eat enough ourselves. How do we keep feeding others every day?" Madhav smiled gently as if she had missed something obvious. "When a guest enters your home," he said, "they bring blessings with them. And when they leave those blessings behind." Sujata lowered her eyes. She wanted to believe him. She truly did. But blessings did not fill empty stomachs. The next morning came with a new test. Madhav walked in, excited. "Sujata," he called, "prepare lunch for 3 guests today." 3, the word echoed in her mind. She turned slowly toward the kitchen. There was barely enough food for 1, but before she could speak, another man entered, a friend, and just like that, Madhav was distracted. "I'll be back by noon," he said, rushing out. The door closed, and silence returned. Sujata stood still, listening to her own breath, feeling the weight of reality press down on her chest. This was no longer about patience. This was survival. Her eyes slowly moved toward the corner of the kitchen. There it was, heavy, solid, unmissable. An idea sparked. Not cruel, not harmful, but clever, very clever. She picked up the pestle and cleaned it carefully. Then, with deliberate movements, she applied kumkum and haldi to it, bright red, deep yellow. It now looked sacred, important, ritualistic. She placed it in the center of the house, where no one could ignore it. Then she waited. The sun climbed higher. Footsteps approached. Voices followed. The guests had arrived. Sujata welcomed them warmly, as always. Her smile was calm, controlled, convincing. But their attention quickly shifted to the pestle. Decorated, honored, almost worshipped. "This is unusual," said one. "What is it for?" Sujata paused, just long enough. Then she leaned in slightly, lowering her voice. "It is part of my husband's vow." Their curiosity deepened. "What vow?" She exhaled softly. "As an act of devotion," she said, "he believes that before feeding any guest, He must tap them on the head with this pestle. Silence. The room froze. She raised her hand gently. "Do not be afraid," she added calmly. "He is a kind man. He does not hit hard, just a small tap." Then, almost casually, 3 times. The guests looked at each other. No one laughed, no one spoke, because something about her tone felt real, too real. Chairs scraped the floor, feet moved, and suddenly they were gone, running fast. Moments later, Madhav returned. He stopped at the entrance, confused. Why are they leaving? Sujata turned to him composed. They left suddenly. Madhav frowned. Did you say something wrong? Sujata shook her head. They wanted the pestle, but I refused. It was my mother's. Madhav's face changed instantly. We must never deny a guest, he said firmly. Without hesitation, he grabbed the pestle. I will give it to them myself. And he ran. Wait, he shouted. Please stop. Take it. The guests turned back, and what they saw confirmed their worst fear. Madhav, running, holding the pestle high, coming straight towards them. They screamed and ran faster than before, through narrow paths, past market stalls, across open roads. People stopped and stared. What is happening? And just like that, the story spread. Madhav is generous, but he hits his guests. Not hard, just a tap. Then the final whisper, 3 times. Days passed, then weeks. No guests came, not one. The house grew quiet again, but this time the silence felt different. Sujata cooked, served, and sat down, beside her husband. 2 plates filled. For the first time in a long time, they ate together, in peace. Madhav never fully understood what had changed, but Sujata did. She hadn't broken his belief, she hadn't argued, she hadn't disrespected him. She simply protected their home. Closing message. Kindness without limits can become a burden, but wisdom knows where to draw the line. Sujata didn't fight kindness, she guided it. Now tell me, did she do the right thing, or should she have been honest no matter the cost? Drop your thoughts in comments.